General West is a highly decorated military veteran with a career spanning more than 20 years, serving as a commander in Iraq and as an advisor in Afghanistan. He has 2 master's degrees, a year of experience as a high school teacher, and his YouTube video, Congressional Candidate Lieutenant Colonel Alan West at the Revolution American Freedom Tour, has received over 2.2 million hits, making it one of the most popular political videos ever. And he is considered by many as the future of the Republican Party. Good morning, Alan. How are you?
Good morning, Maria. It's a pleasure to be with you. And I tell you what, I don't know if I'm the person that you were just describing, but thanks a lot.
You are very much so. You are very much so. Recent polling indicates that you have taken a 44-42 lead over your opponent, Democratic incumbent Ron Klein, despite his edge over you in name recognition, 93% to 49% in District 22. Polling experts say that this indicates that the more people know you, the more they like you and your message. People often ask me about you, and I've told them that you are the real deal, everything that I've just said. But what do you think it is about you and your message that people have taken to heart?
Well, I think right now what you see, Marie, is a breaking of the paradigm of the ruling class elitism and the career politician. I think that the American people, as replicated down here in Congressional District 22, and definitely with the Tuesday primary elections, I think you saw last Tuesday, all across this country, people are going against what they see as the status quo. And when you talk about a message that gets back to the fundamental principles of this country, rooted in the Constitution, rooted in limited government, lower taxes, individual responsibility, accountability, national security, and free market principles, some of those basic things that made this country what it is in 233 years. So I think that helps to resonate with not just the people here in this congressional district, but all across the state and across the country, which I am just so absolutely humbled and thankful for the response our campaign has received.
Excellent. Recently, Sarah Palin wrote to her many followers on her Facebook page about you, that you are a decorated war hero, and this is a quote, a decorated war hero who served with distinction in combat zones in Iraq and Afghanistan. Many of you have heard of Alan from a speech he gave last year that became a viral video on YouTube with over 2 million viewers. Alan's personal story is a testament to the common sense, conservative belief that our nation's greatness is rooted in freedom. Because with freedom comes equal opportunity, and that, coupled with hard work, leads to success. Alan is a small government fiscal conservative running against a left-wing ideologue who's marched to the beat of Nancy Pelosi on every issue, from cap and tax to the stimulus, TARP, and of course Obamacare. It's time to send Alan to Washington in his place, end quote. With her key endorsements, one of which in California that I'm not particularly thrilled with, but that aside, she and our guest tonight, Senator Jim DeMint, who has also strongly endorsed you, are being touted as kingmakers. What do you make of that?
Well, you know, I'm not one that believes in the whole kingmaker thing, because I think the most important responsibility I have are to the constituents here in this congressional district, and also to the people who all across this country. It is pretty honorable that you do have people of the stature and the influence, such as Governor Palin or Senator DeMint or some of the others we've gotten endorsements from. But that's not my focus. When I get an endorsement that comes from the Best for Freedom, or I get an endorsement that comes from the National Defense Pact, or some of the other groups that are very important and near and dear to my heart, that means a lot to me, because they're representative of the American people. But I think that it is very important that you do have a national identity, and that people are paying attention to who you are, because that expands the base of support that you can get down here in this race. And I think that, you know, she is looking to someone as myself, once again, as a person that took an oath to this Constitution to support and defend it and put their lives on the line to do that. And that's the kind of person that you want in Washington, D.C., that, you know, stands for honor, integrity, and character.
Forgive me, Alan. I'm just a little emotional this morning because, and you know, the interview with you today and the interview tonight with Senator DeMint. And you are two of the men that I think are about as close to political perfection as it gets for human beings. So
oh, wow.
I'm just a little emotional today. but here's my question. Mm-hmm. Neither of us subscribes to the notion of identity politics. But we are who we are. Growing up, knowing our history, I'm sure, like me, you look toward the day when our people would achieve this historic milestone. And here we are, with the milestone that we got. This president and his policies and his talk of butt-kicking and all of this. And I mean, that's why I think I'm teary this morning, is that I ache with the thought that it could be you or someone like you. Just what is your visceral reaction? Just as, candidate West aside, what is your visceral reaction as a black man to this particular president culturally? This president?
Well, the thing is, it is not about, having a black president. It's not about having a white president. It's not about having an Indian, orange, pink, blue, or, whatever color president. It's about having a good president. It's about having a president that stands up for the Constitution. It's about having a president that believes in our traditions and values. I got to tell you, I'm very disappointed because I really believe that this could end up being a terrible reflection back upon the black community. And we need to wake up and stop worrying about the historical moment, but worry about having someone that can be a good leader in this country. And, one of the things that just absolutely appalled me was Memorial Day. Memorial Day when the men and women that I have served with and lost their lives gave that last full measure of devotion, as Lincoln said. And this president didn't even think it was worthy of him to stay in Washington, D.C. and, lay that wreath at Arlington. Even worse, he didn't think it was important to have breakfast with the Gold Star family. But then you couple that with, D-Day. There was no mention of D-Day and the 66th year anniversary of what those brave men did on that fateful morning when they stormed the beaches of Normandy, Utah, Omaha, Juneau, and Gold Beaches. There was no mention just yesterday. Yesterday was Flag Day. It was also the birthday, 235 years, birthday of the United States Army. And it was also the day that Dwight David Eisenhower inserted 2 words into the Pledge of Allegiance, under God. And yet we saw him say nothing about that. So, I could care less about the black thing. I am an American. And, yes, I do have a black skin tone, but the most important thing for me right now is to have good principled leadership in this country.
Absolutely. A few days ago, the New York Times reported a bombshell that there may be $1 trillion in metals buried in the ground in Afghanistan. Some now say that Afghanistan may be to lithium what Saudi Arabia is to oil. As someone who served in Afghanistan and knows the people, what effect do you believe that has on the war there? With so much wealth now at stake, has the war now become too important for either side to lose?
Well, it does. And see, the thing is, you have an opportunity for a country that was taken back into the 7th century to truly now have an economy, now have a resource that they can produce. And that's a huge threat to the enemies that would like to keep them dark, keep them from being a prosperous country, because one of the things that the radical Islamic terrorists want to drive upon is a sense of deprivation of the people. And they don't want to see education. They don't want to see people have a good, prosperous life. They would rather people to give their lives for their cause. So I think that what you have to be very concerned about is now all of a sudden the drug lords over there become mineral lords. And the Taliban, now starts to, go out and seek how they can control whatever these sites or these mining areas that may be predisposed. So I think now you're looking at an incredible economic race, not just the ideological race that we're against to try to defeat this totalitarian, bureaucratic political belief system, but now this economic race to make sure that, Afghanistan can have a viable economic future. But even still, Marie, they don't have a seaport. So, it would still be contingent upon Pakistan, which we know Pakistan is the biggest problem in that area right now. So until we can get some type of seaport and we see what's happening in Kyrgyzstan, just to the north of Afghanistan, with the tribal ethnic problems you have in there between the Kyrgyz and the Uzbeks. So this is a very volatile area, even though you have such